Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Ronnie from the blog Our High Street Home, and today I'm going to be showing you how I created this vase. So I was given this glass fish bowl, and of course I'm always willing to take a nice glass piece and do a craft with it. So I knew I wanted to decoupage with it. So the first thing that you have to do is to get all the oils off, and the best way to do it is to just take a piece of cotton and some alcohol. I was also able to get a few of these beautiful napkins, and the image on these napkins fits on these glass bowls perfectly. I can get 3 on all the way around. And I also had this platinum gray Kills chalk paint. So I put 2 coats of this chalk paint on my bowl. It's important to remember when you're decoupaging for your image to really fade onto your piece so the edges don't show a lot, to get paint that really matches the background color of your image. I like to put 2 coats on to get the true color of the paint and for the best coverage. It's important to remember that most napkins have layers on the back, and you need to get all the layers off. So you're only working with 1 ply. It's going to give you the smoothest finish. And I like this method best for separating the extra tissue I don't need from around my picture. You just use some water and a little craft brush, and as you can see here, I just wet it and tear away the extra tissue, and it gives a nice uneven border, and an uneven border fades into your piece very nicely. There's no special way to do this here. You just wet the tissue and tear the extra away. So the Mod Podge I like to use is usually just matte Mod Podge, and I like to pour it out in a bowl. I also like to use a balled up piece of saran wrap to smooth my picture as I go. The tissue can tend to tear if you're using your fingers, and if you use this balled up piece of saran wrap to smooth it, there's much less chance of you tearing it. And I start with a nice thin layer of Mod Podge. Once you have your picture centered the way you want, start from the middle and start smoothing out to the edges. You will see a little bit of wrinkling because this is a rounded object that I'm covering, but there won't be much. I've never found a better way to smooth these pictures down than with this saran wrap. And I don't remember where I heard this tip, but boy does it work. Now if you have edges that aren't laying down flat and aren't glued well, just go back in with some extra glue. Just add it underneath your picture and smooth it down. Now you can see this picture blends pretty well right on to the surface of this bowl, and that's because the color of the bowl is very similar to the background of the napkin. I continued with my pictures around this entire bowl. I have another tip here. If you're really having a hard time getting all the plies of your napkin separated, try to slightly dampen your thumb and your finger and tap it on either side of the napkin to kind of pull apart the ply off the front picture. They can be tricky and it can look like they're all separated, but a lot of the time the ply right behind the picture is really stuck. And if that's the case, even if it's super thin, you will get extra bubbling and wrinkling if you don't get it off. Now, once I've had all my pictures put on, I let all that glue set up for a few hours at least. because I find if I don't, I've gotten more wrinkling when I do this second coat to cover the entire project. So I really let that glue set up for a few hours, and then I go over the entire thing with a thin coat of Mod Podge. After that, you really can add as many layers as you want. Now this is going to be used as a vase, so I'm going to add a few layers because I'm assuming it's going to get a little wet here and there, filling it with water. You want to make sure that the coats that you're putting on are thin and they're spread evenly and there's no globs of paint anywhere. You want this to dry clear, and if you do have globs, they'll dry white. I let the second coat of Mod Podge sit overnight and decided I wanted to use the dishwasher safe Mod Podge as my last coat because I was afraid of this piece getting wet. This takes longer to cure, so I like to cure it in the oven, and what you do is you put it in a cold oven and set your oven to the lowest temperature, which is usually 170 degrees, and let your piece bake in there at just that 170 degrees. After an hour, shut your oven off and let your piece cool right in the oven, and it speeds up the curing process much quicker. And here is my finished piece. If you like this project, I have more information on it over on my blog, Our High Street Home. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe.